Come close to the fire and let the heavy oak doors close behind you, shutting out the noise of the waking world. I'm Nymeria, and I am so glad you have found your way here. Tonight, we are returning to a place of deep safety and ancient knowledge. You are not merely a listener tonight, you are a student, an apprentice of the high arts, returning to your sanctuary in the midst of a gentle winter storm. The scrolls are waiting, the tea is steeping, and the castle is quiet. So loosen your shoulders, unclench your jaw, let the tension melt away like snowflakes on a warm windowpane. You are safe here. Take a slow, deep breath, and let us begin. The world returns to you slowly, not with a jarring noise, but with a shift in the light. You are drifting in the delicious, heavy warmth of a deep sleep, buried beneath layers of enchanted wool and down. The air in your dormitory, the circular room at the very pinnacle of the east tower of House Caelum, is crisp and cool. It is the kind of cold that makes the warmth of your bed feel like a physical embrace, a heavy, protective weight that you are in no hurry to shed. Your eyes blink open, heavy-lidded and slow. The first thing you see is the canopy of your four-poster bed. The velvet dyed a deep, midnight blue, embroidered with constellations that shift imperceptibly if you watch them long enough. But you do not watch them. Your gaze drifts to the window. The stone arch of the window frame is thick, cut from the granite of the mountain itself, but the glass is frosted over. A masterpiece of ice ferns and crystalline geometry has grown across the panes during the night. The light filtering through is soft, diffused, and distinctively gray. It is the light of a world buried under snow. You can hear it now, the silence. It is a paradox, of course, listening to silence. But here, in the Academy, the silence has a texture. It is the sound of the wind pressing against the stone walls, muffled by feet of fresh snow. It is the absence of the usual morning bells, which means the storm has triggered the old wards. There will be no rushing today. The castle has decided to sleep in, and so the day begins with a permission to move slowly. You stretch, your limbs warm and heavy. You push back the quilts, just enough to let one hand brave the cool air, reaching for the wand that rests on your bedside table of dark walnut wood. Your fingers brush the smooth, polished grain of the wood rowan with a core of unicorn hair, steady and loyal. With a soft murmur, barely a whisper, you cast a minor charm, Ignis Fosilio, across the room. In the small, circular hearth, the embers of last night's fire glow bright orange, then bloom gently into a steady, crackling flame. The light dances across the stone floor, chasing away the gray shadows. The smell of birch wood and dried sage fills the room, grounding you. You sit up, swinging your legs over the side of the bed. Your feet find the thick, hand-woven rug, saving you from the chill of the stone. You stand and move to the window, wrapping your dressing gown tight around you, a heavy garment of charcoal wool lined with silk. You press your hand against the cold glass and melt a small circle in the frost. Outside, the world has vanished. The Academy, usually a sprawling vista of turrets, bridges, and courtyards, is softened into a painting of white and gray. The Black Lake is a pristine sheet of white. The Forbidden Forest is a wall of frosted pine. Snow is falling in thick, heavy clumps, drifting straight down, relentless and hypnotic. It covers the gargoyles, giving them soft white caps. It fills the courtyards. It is a blanket that hushes the entire world. There is a rhythm to the falling snow, a slow metronome that syncs with your heartbeat. You watch it for a long time, simply breathing. In, out. There is nowhere else you need to be. Eventually, the promise of tea draws you away from the view. You move through your morning routine with the practiced ease of a sixth-year student. You wash with water warmed by the heat of the castle's pipes, drying your face with a towel that smells of lavender soap. You dress in your winter uniform, thick trousers, a shirt of heavy white cotton, a vest of Caelum blue, and finally, your robe. The robe is heavy, lined with fur at the collar, weighted with the history of the thousands of students who have worn this crest before you. You pull on your boots, lacing them tight. They are dragon hide, impervious to the damp, lined with fleece. When you stand, fully dressed, you feel armored against the winter. You are safe. You are warm. You are ready. Leaving the dormitory, you descend the spiral staircase of the East Tower. The steps are narrow and worn smooth in the center, dipped by centuries of footsteps. The stone walls here are lined with tapestries that help insulate the tower. They depict the history of the Academy, weavers of light, builders of stone, astronomers charting stars that no longer exist. As you descend, you notice the figures in the tapestries are huddled around embroidered fires or pulling their woven cloaks tighter. The magic of the castle reflects the season. Even the art feels the cold. You reach the common room of House Caelum. It is a wide, airy space with a domed ceiling made of glass, though today the glass is covered in snow, casting the room in a twilight glow. Floating globes of warm, amber light drift near the ceiling like lazy fireflies, providing illumination. The room is quiet. A few other students are scattered about, sunk deep into the overstuffed armchairs near the massive fireplace. The fire here is a roaring beast, cheerful and bright. A third-year student is asleep with a book on their chest. 2 fifth-years are playing a game of wizard's chess, but they are whispering, respectful of the morning's hush. You move to the long oak table near the window, where the silver tea service is always waiting. You pour a cup Earl Grey with a hint of bergamot and magical soothing draft. The steam rises in a curling ribbon. You wrap your hands around the ceramic mug, letting the heat seep into your palms. You take a sip. It is perfect. Warm, floral, and grounding. After finishing your tea, you step out into the corridor. The Academy is a labyrinth, but after 6 years, you know its moods. Today, the castle feels sleepy. The stone corridor, usually echoing with the sound of rushing feet, is still. You walk past the portraits of the founders. Sir Roderick the Steady is snoring in his frame, his metal gauntlet rising and falling on his chest. Lady Alara of the Mist is awake, but she simply smiles at you, raising a delicate finger to her lips, miming hush. You approach the grand staircase. Unlike the chaotic shifting of the younger years, the staircase today moves with a glacial slowness. It senses your destination before you even step onto the first riser. You place your hand on the banister, cool marble, smooth as glass, and the staircase gives a low, vibrating hum of acknowledgement. Slowly, gracefully, the entire stone structure rotates. It doesn't jerk or grind, it glides, aligning itself with the third floor corridor. You step off, nodding your thanks to the stone. The air here smells of old parchment and beeswax. This is the corridor of theory. Your first class of the day is theory of Aetherial Weaving. It is a subject reserved for upper years, a study not of sparks and bangs, but of the fabric of magic itself. The classroom is shaped like an amphitheater, with steep wooden rows looking down on a central podium. The room is lit only by tall, floating candles that drip no wax. The windows are high and narrow, letting in shafts of the gray winter light that illuminate the dust motes dancing in the air. Professor Thorne stands at the chalkboard. He is an ancient man, his beard like spun silver, his robes the color of dried moss. He does not shout. He does not need to. His voice is like crinkling paper, dry, soft, and textured. Magic, he says, writing the word on the board with a piece of chalk that makes no sound, is not a hammer. It is a thread. You take your seat in the middle row, opening your leather-bound notebook. You dip your quill into your ink pot. The ink is a deep indigo. On a day like today, Professor Thorne continues, packing slowly, his hands clasped behind his back. When the world is quieted by the snow, the threads are easier to see. The noise of the earth is dampened. The static is gone. He gestures with a withered hand, and the dust motes in the shaft of light suddenly stop their chaotic dancing. They align, forming a perfect, rotating sphere in the air. Observe the suspension, he murmurs. We do not force the dust to hold still. We simply ask the air to support it. We weave a cradle of intent. You write this down, a cradle of intent. The scratching of your quill is one of the few sounds in the room. Around you, other quills scratch in unison, a rhythmic, comforting sound, like gentle rain. The lesson passes in a haze of gentle focus. There is no practical spellcasting today, only the drawing of diagrams. You sketch the flow of energy, the loops and whorls of a suspension charm. It is meditative work. The geometry of magic is beautiful, perfect circles, intersecting lines, the golden ratio applied to the soul. You feel your mind sharpening, not with stress, but with the joy of understanding. It is the feeling of a puzzle piece clicking into place. When the bell tolls, a deep, resonant gong that vibrates through the floorboards. It signals the end of the lesson. Go quietly, Professor Thorne says, erasing the sphere of dust with a wave of his hand. Carry the stillness with you. You have a free period before lunch, and there is only one place you wish to be. The library of the Academy is vast, a cathedral of knowledge. The ceiling is lost in shadows, so high up that small bats roost there, sleeping upside down like furry fruit. The shelves are towering monoliths of oak, packed so tight with books that they seem to groan under the weight of the words. You enter, and the smell hits you, the intoxicating perfume of vanilla, almond, decaying paper, and leather. It is the smell of 1,000 years of thought. The librarian, Madame Pince, a distant cousin of the one you might have heard of in stories, but far kinder, sits at her desk, mending the spine of a grimoire with magical tape. She nods to you as you pass. You wander deep into the stacks. You run your fingers along the spines of the books. The history of Goblin Silver, flora of the Twilight Realm, the architecture of dreams. You are looking for something specific, yet vague. You find yourself in the section dedicated to atmospheric charms. You pull down a heavy tome, its cover worn velvet. You find a nook, a window seat nestled between two bookcases, padded with cushions of crushed red velvet. You curl up, tucking your legs beneath you. The window here looks out over the forbidden forest. The trees are bowed under the snow, looking like hunched wizards in white robes. You open the book. The pages are thick and creamy, the font an elegant script. You read about the Cantis Nivis, the Song of Snow. It is a spell not to create snow, but to encourage it to fall gently. It is a spell used to silence a grieving city or to bring peace to a restless battlefield. The words flow through your mind. You are not studying for a test. You are drinking in the lore. You learn that the Academy was built here specifically because the ley lines, the rivers of magic beneath the earth, run slow and deep in this valley, like a hibernation. Time loses its meaning in the library. There is only the turning of pages, the soft breathing of the students nearby, and the endless fall of snow outside. You feel a profound sense of belonging. You are a scholar in a castle of wonders. You are exactly where you are meant to be. Hunger eventually rouses you. You close the book with a soft thud, replace it on the shelf, and make your way to the great hall. If the library was the mind of the castle, the great hall is its heart. The massive doors are open, and warmth spills out into the corridor. You enter, and the sound of low, cheerful conversation washes over you. The enchanted ceiling reflects the sky outside, gray and swirling with white flakes. But down here, it is golden. Thousands of candles float in midair, casting a light that makes everything look rich and inviting. The 4 long house tables are laden with food. You sit at the Caelum table, sliding onto the bench beside your friends. They smile, shifting to make room, passing you a plate. The food today is heavy winter fare. There are tureens of roasted butternut squash soup, thick and creamy, swirled with cream. There are baskets of crusty bread, still warm from the ovens, smelling of yeast and salt. There are platters of roasted root vegetables, carrots, parsnips, potatoes, glazed with honey and thyme. There is shepherd's pie piping hot, the mashed potato crust golden brown. You eat slowly, savoring the flavors. The soup warms you from the inside out. The bread is crunchy and soft. You sip a goblet of pumpkin juice, cold and sweet, spiced with cinnamon. The conversation around you is easy. No one is shouting. Your friends talk about the snow, about the difficulty of the Transfiguration essay, about the rumor that the headmistress has seen a white stag in the forest. You listen more than you speak, content to be surrounded by the hum of friendship. At the high table, the professors are eating as well. The headmistress, a woman of regal bearing with hair like iron and eyes like flint, looks out over the hall. Her gaze lands on the upper year students, and she gives a barely perceptible nod. You feel a thrill of anticipation. The nod, it is the signal. The 13th lesson is happening today. The 13th lesson is not on any timetable. It is not written in any syllabus. It happens only once a year, and only when the snow is deep enough to silence the castle's wards, isolating the magic within the stone walls. You finish your meal, your heart beating a calm, steady rhythm. You and the other 6th and 7th years rise from the tables. There is no announcement, but you all know. You leave the great hall, bypassing the classrooms. You climb up the grand staircase, past the hospital wing, past the astronomy tower. You climb higher than you have been all year, up a narrow, winding staircase, hidden behind a tapestry of a sleeping unicorn. This is the North Tower, the silent tower. The air gets colder as you ascend. The stone steps are frosted. You pull your robe tighter. At the very top, there is a circular room with no roof. It is open to the sky, open to the falling snow. But the floor is heated by ancient runes carved into the stone, so the snow melts the moment it touches the ground, creating a thin, shimmering mist. The headmistress is standing there, waiting. She wears a cloak of white fur, blending in with the swirling storm above. 20 of you gather in a circle. You stand shoulder to shoulder, a ring of students facing the center. The 13th lesson, the headmistress says, her voice not loud, yet carrying perfectly through the wind, is not about doing. It is about listening. She holds out her hands, palms up. Magic is a vibration, she explains. Usually, we impose our will upon it. We speak words, we wave wands, we force the world to bend. But true mastery, true power, comes from the spaces between the spells. She looks at each of you. Cast your wands aside. You hesitate for a fraction of a second. Then you kneel and place your Rowan wand on the warm stone floor. The others do the same. You stand back up, feeling strangely naked, yet lighter. Close your eyes, she commands gently, and listen. Do not listen to the wind. Do not listen to your breath. Listen to the magic that is already here. You close your eyes. At first, you hear the wind. You hear the rustle of robes. You hear the distant caw of a raven. But you wait. You let the silence of the snow sink into your skin. You let the cold air numb your cheeks. And then you hear it. It is a low, thrumming hum. It sounds like a cello string bowed in a cavern. It is the sound of the castle itself. You can feel the massive stones holding each other up. You can feel the ley lines deep in the earth, a river of light flowing beneath your feet. You can feel the enchantments in the walls, ancient and protective, breathing like a living thing. You realize, with a sudden rush of wonder, that you are part of that hum. Your own heartbeat is syncing with the castle. You are not a wizard standing in a tower. You are the tower. You are the stone. You are the snow. Hold it, the headmistress whispers. Do not grasp it. Just let it flow through you. You feel a warmth spreading through your chest, brighter and purer than any fire. It is raw magic, unfiltered by a wand, entering you simply because you were quiet enough to let it in. It washes away the stress of exams, the worry of the future, the fear of failure. It leaves only peace. You stand there for what feels like hours, though it might only be minutes. You are a conduit of the storm and the stone. Open your eyes, the voice comes. You open them. The world looks sharper, clearer. The colors are more vivid. The snow looks like falling diamonds. You look at your classmates, and they are glowing, faint auras of light clinging to their shoulders. Remember this, the headmistress says softly. The strongest magic is not the one that shouts. It is the one that endures. Class dismissed. The descent from the tower is dreamlike. You feel light, buoyant. You retrieve your wand, but you don't feel the need to use it. You carry the stillness with you. The afternoon fades into evening. The gray light outside deepens to indigo, then to black. The castle lights torches, filling the corridors with dancing shadows. You return to your common room. The fire is still roaring. You sit in one of the armchairs, your body tired in the good, heavy way that comes from fresh air and deep focus. You pull out a piece of parchment and a quill, intending to write an essay. But instead, you just write a few notes about the feeling of the hum. You watch the ink dry, shimmering in the firelight. Dinner is a quiet affair, soup and warm bread again, eaten in the common room with your housemates. The wind is picking up outside, howling around the towers, but that only makes the inside feel safer. The thick stone walls are an impenetrable barrier. You are protected. Slowly, the common room empties. Students drift up the stairs to their beds. The chess game is packed away. The books are closed. You are the last one left by the fire. You watch the embers pulse, fading from bright orange to deep red. You feel the heavy eyelids of sleep approaching. You climb the stairs to the dormitory. The room is dark, save for the glow of the embers in your own small hearth. The window is completely white now, a wall of snow pressing against the glass. You change into your night clothes, soft flannel, warm and loose. You brush your teeth, wash your face, and unbraid your hair. You climb into your four-poster bed. The sheets are cool for a moment, then your body heat warms them. You pull the heavy duvet up to your chin. You wiggle your toes, finding the warmest spot. You lay your wand on the nightstand. You close your eyes. You can still hear the hum of the castle, faint now, a lullaby singing you to sleep. You think of the snow falling, covering the world, smoothing out the rough edges, quieting the noise. You are safe in the tower. You have learned the lesson of silence. The world will be there tomorrow, but for now, there is only the dark, the warmth, and the drift. Good night, apprentice. Sleep well.